Hello, this is a video presentation of my Far Cry 5 custom level. This will be something around 5 to 10 minutes long. I will be going over the different design processes and rationale in regard to this level and how uh, I kind of went around creating these different elements. So, we're going to play the level and I'm going to get right into it. Just give it a second to kind of load and render the level out, and then we'll begin with the presentation. Right, there we go. Okay, so immediately upon starting the level, the player can select different loadouts. I've created 4 different loadouts that the player can kind of experiment with. These provide the challenge and replayability aspects of the design process, so players can try out different playstyles and so on. So we have a close range, assault class, stealth class, and a special class, which were tweaked and rebalanced during development, as it was found that some of these classes were not as good, such as the special class, which initially had a wrist rocket. So we're gonna go with assault class. So when loading into the level, immediately the player is introduced to the atmospheric fog in the level, trying to go with that green toxic hue essentially, with a night cycle with a thunderstorm in the background to help with the audio affordances essentially. And I've added a vignette post processing effect on the screen to help obscure player vision essentially, to help build up that tenser atmosphere. As for light sources used in the level, as you can see immediately, we have these little braziers that I've used to help guide the player along the right path on the main road, and how they can navigate through certain sections of the level. Similarly, this process was also done in the cave. So if I go down here, I use flares, essentially exact same process as the braziers up top. They're essentially used to guide the player on the right path. Now, this level was essentially built based on linear and non-linear design. I've went along the lines of more of a hybrid design aspect of the development, and essentially, in terms of linear, it's in the sense of completing linear objectives. However, the play can do them in a non-linear way, where they can, for instance, go kill the VIP targets in my level, or they can go around killing all the enemies first. Now, this level caters to different player stereotypes. These are the killer, explorer, and achiever stereotypes. This is done to help get a broader target audience on the level and allow them to have a more fulfilling experience. In a way, they can express what they might find fun in the level. For instance, this could be the sensation kind of fun, which can be seen possibly in the different weapons used or vehicles. Now, things like player motivations were also considered, such as intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. Intrinsic motivations would be things like just completing the level in general, defeating the different enemies, clearing the objectives. Extrinsic motivation would probably be something along the lines of the experience gained from completing the level, essentially. Uh, I've also considered very basic storytelling elements in this outpost. This is something along the lines of like these bones scattered around the level, whether they're corpses in certain elements, or for instance, a burnt down mansion, which could suggest that there was a fire and that many of the civilians ended up dying in this outpost. As for some of the issues that kind of arose in the development of this level, um, this essentially revolved around the cave development that I've seen previously. Um, so the cave essentially was very difficult to make due to validation issues and led to essentially a lot of problems with this. Now, I hope to essentially improve upon underground elements in an outpost like this, and hopefully probably either remove them entirely or just do something else along the right lines of what I was going for. Other issues that occurred were around the different enemy spawns and amount of enemies in the level, as it was found out that there were essentially too many dogs in the outpost. Like seeing here, there was just too many, so I had to reduce the number down just to make the outpost feel more fair to the player. Now, as for the different scripted elements in my level, uh, these were a little tedious to make due to some of the issues with it. Now, now the issues that arose were due to the destructible mesh on the in the church. I'm going to show that now, essentially. So, as we can see, over here we have the church, and there's a destructible wall. Now, I've set a condition where the VIP targets, essentially, once they are defeated, the level is complete. I mean, not the level's complete, sorry. Essentially, the play can continue on into this outpost and continue with the different objectives. Now, I had to place down these logs as a way to prevent the player from essentially breaking these down or entering the church without completing this objective. Similar thing to do with the civilian and the different enemies from killing each other. So now here we have the final VIP target. So now once this target is defeated, this opens up the final pathway for the player. So now when the player goes to rescue the civilian, they get teleported over to a what would be a final boss essentially in the level. Uh, Now I'm not gonna kill off all the enemies just because of the time of this video, so it is a little tedious to enter inside because of these logs. However, it was the only way I found making this work. So once the player rescues the civilian, the player gets teleported to a final stand boss fight. So now the player will face off against uh, the Blood Dragon, and then once the Blood Dragon is defeated, the player gets teleported to the final section where they can uh, defeat this final target. Now, once this target is dead, the level ideally would be over. It is expected of the player to already kill all the other enemies in the level before they reach this stage, because the player can't actually exit this final encounter. Anyway, this is essentially my video presentation of my level. I will be doing my Fortnite custom presentation next. Due to some difficulties with the development, I will need to work on that next, and we'll have that done as soon as possible. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one, which will be the Fortnite presentation.